G'day, this is Nathan from the Star Trek Continual Mod team, back for the 6th video in the Old HOD to New HOD demonstration. In this video we'll be doing the rigging for the ship. We'll be starting off with markers. So we'll be using the Homeworld remastered scripts that Echo Red did. I'll reiterate that they are a little bit delicate, so make sure you haven't selected anything here by just clicking in the grey bit there and then select marker. I typically just call the markers marker 1 through 5, and that's fine as long as you got the same names in the rest of the ship file. So you type the name in there and hit marker. Okay, so we close this here. Now this marker, it's actually got an incorrect pivot on it. So if we have a look at the pivot, instead of the blue facing up, it's facing forward. And if we take the pivot off so we can move it into view, you can see it doesn't actually have any color on it. So what I'm going to do is delete the mesh off it, and back to effect pivot only, I'm going to rotate that so that the blue is facing up again. Now I took a marker from one of the gearbox examples because it had the right colors on it, as you can see there, and the right pivot. So I'll put that back to 0, 0, 0, and then I'll put that onto the marker. So there you have a marker that is perfectly positioned. Now this is a good time to do your cloning for the rest of your markers. So you just do copy. It doesn't particularly matter for the mesh what the name is, but if you clone, copy, and just change the name for the joint so that it's the next one. It's important to do this before you move the first one, because it will be at the 000 position as well, and you won't have any positional worries later. So you do that for however many markers you want. This ship has 15, but I will not do them on the video recording. Now to position, you should already have all of the information you need in your old HOD. All of the markers will still have their XYZ coordinates listed in here. One thing to note between Cold Fusion HOD Editor and 3ds Max is that the X and the Y are inverted. So Y is backwards and forwards in 3ds Max, and Z is up and down. So it'll be 45, 265. So we've got marker 1 selected. We've made sure it's on select and move, and we've got here 45, 260. Actually, it'll be negative 260, and then 5. I don't know why it's negative 260, but keep it consistent. The next thing you're going to look at is the capture point. So once again, make sure you've got nothing selected and bring up your joint template. So they have a visual mesh with it, which occasionally doesn't work. So I typically just turn that off straight up. Capture point is pretty easy. For us, we just keep it at 0, 0, 0. I was a little bit uncareful then. I didn't double check that the LOD 0 was selected before I did that. The next one would be for a subsystem, you would need a hard point. We use a hard point to put a dummy subsystem on for the experience calculations for the ships. So my hard point is going to be called experience. Once again, this will be at 0, 0, 0. The repair joints are going to be at different positions though, so we'll create a repair joint first, and then we can retrieve the coordinates from the HOD. So we've got repair point here. It's at 45,265. So it's opposite. So it's directly above the original joint. Sorry, the marker that we did. This gives a good effect for damage. You have the damage on the marker, and then the repair ship comes up and hovers over it. So we've got repair point selected. 260 is not there, so that's 45. And then negative 260. And then let's put a little bit above it. Go for 7. Or even 10. Okay, so weapons joints are pretty similar too. We have weapon disruptor 00 position right there at the front, as you can see. So that's at 0, negative 4.5346. So remember the Y and the Z will be inverted and it's facing forward. So this is a little bit harder to visualize in Max because it's just got these green squares. So we'll get so it's disruptor 00 with a capital D. Is that disruptor with an O or has it been misspelled? No, it's disruptor with an O. That's good. So once again, choose the LOD and weapon. So there's our joint with the position. We'll move it into the given coordinates, which were 346 and negative 4.5. 346, which would actually, that would be a Y. Negative 346 and 4.5. So you can see here, that's sitting there quite nicely. Now, the rest, if we hide and show that, rest should be the one at the front and direction should be the one pointing up. So we have direction is the one at the top and rest is pointing at the front. So that is absolutely correct right there. Okay, so that is one of each of the joints that the ship will require. I'm going to go through and fill in the rest and then we can get started on getting the ship actually in game.